I've mentored over 1,000 photographers who have gone from being broke to being able to make a full-time living from photography. And here's what I've learned. Most of them stayed broke way longer than they needed to, not because they weren't talented, but because they didn't have a proven system to follow. If you're new here, I'm Sarah Petty, and I've built a multi-million-dollar boutique photography business over the last 27 years. And the reason I was able to be a hands-on mom while running my business is because I figured out how to get higher client orders by offering prints instead of giving away all the digital files. That gave me free time to do the things I wanted to do, to be present with my kids, while also building a successful business doing something I actually love. Today, I'm walking you through my exact 9-step playbook, the same system my students use to go from a couple $100 average sales to booking $2,500 plus orders consistently. By the end of this video, you'll know what you're doing wrong and exactly what steps to follow. Step 1 is branding. The first thing that's so important to scrub through is your identity and your brand. So think about it this way. Your identity is what you look like, colors, logos, fonts, and your brand is how people feel about you. I was a marketing director at an ad agency, and this was the very first place we started with every single new client that came to us, because most business owners are focused on the thing they love to do, and they don't even realize that their identity and branding mistakes are costing them so much money in confusion and lost clients. So what's the biggest pitfall in this area? It's disjointed branding, using multiple logos, little things like using a free Gmail or iCloud address. Likely your business name doesn't match your social media handles. I see that all the time. Listen, you've got to be religious. One logo, email at your domain, and then you want to have aligned and consistent branding across your website and every social media channel. From a mindset perspective, I want you to remember that you can't build a strong brand on a weak identity. So make the decisions, put them in a brand guide, and stick with them 100% of the time. Step 2 is products and pricing. What most people do wrong, this one's easy, they guess or they copy what others are doing. Listen, if you want a profitable business that doesn't run you, you've got to have a higher average order. And that's never going to happen if you're just selling high-res digital files. To leverage your time and be able to get sales in the thousands from a single session, you do that by offering printed products to decorate clients' homes. And then the process to serve them, we'll talk about next. Okay. But once you have made that decision, the only way to run a profitable business is to use profitable prices. You can't start your business at a loss and think, well, someday when I get better, I'll charge what I need to. No, you have to do it from the start, set profitable prices, and then focus on adding enough value so that your clients say, whoa, that was expensive, but it was worth every penny. A few things that add value. Get your price list professionally designed. You can't type up your prices in Microsoft Word and print them on your office printer. That screams, I'm cheap and I don't know what I'm doing. I also recommend taking your prices off your website. Your website is a marketing tool to generate leads. Get people on the phone. That's how you build relationships. From a mental perspective, when it comes to pricing, when you raise your prices and you make the decision that you're no longer going to be a cheap commodity photographer, people around you are going to have opinions. Some people are going to say, oh my gosh, you can't charge that. Nobody will pay that. People just want digital files. Am I right? Yes, you know I am. Listen, we have to know that when we make business decisions, we're not going to be for everyone, and that's okay. And listen, friends and family are going to panic as you even personally grow. You got to let it go. My mindset motto, I only take advice from someone who's succeeding at what I want to do. Other people's opinions don't matter. Think about it. Do you ask for parenting advice from your friend who has no kids? No. They may offer it, but you disregard it. Do the same thing with your business. Okay, step 3 is preparing and ordering samples. I really want you to hear this. You gotta show big to sell big. This one's easy. Get one large sample because you need scale. What most people do wrong is they think people are gonna look at small little images on their phone or in an online gallery and say, whoa, that would look amazing as a 60-inch wall portrait over my mantle. Doesn't happen, my friend. From a mental perspective in this step, what I think happens is once you commit to doing wall portraits, it gets so much easier. Step 4, finding your what and why. Okay, this is really important. First, let's talk about your what. That is what makes you different. For me in my business and all of my students that I teach, what makes us different is our model. It's the boutique model. So we create beautiful wall portraits for our clients' homes instead of digital files. And so our entire system to serve them makes it so easy for them to end up with beautiful wall portraits, which in itself makes us worth more. So I have that what conversation with every single prospect. I also have to have the why conversation. The why conversation is, why am I driven to create artwork for people? What's that story that drives you? Why do you care? For me, my story is that I have hardly any photos of myself as a child. Cameras just weren't accessible back then. And I was the second child. My parents were busy chasing 2 little kids. And because of that, I am so passionate about helping families create beautiful printed artwork that they'll cherish forever. And think about this, and it should make you angry. This is the most photographed generation, yet the least printed one. Here's a mindset reframe for yourself, is that you've got to make decisions and take action from the identity of the person that you want to become, not the person you are now. So to do that, the first thing is make the decision to become you 2.0. A profitable, successful business owner. When you become that, what decisions do you make differently? By the way, if you like what I'm sharing here, you will love my free weekly newsletter. It's a quick read because I know I like that. So it's like 5 minutes. It's got actionable ideas to help you grow your photography business. So I'll stick that link in the description for you. Step 5 is probably the most overlooked for most people, and that is mastering the first conversation. Friend, that first phone call is everything. Imagine this. Suppose everyone in your whole town had only eaten fast food. And then a really nice sit-down restaurant opens. Nobody's heard of it. Nobody understands what they do. And so if you just put your prices on your website or you email them out without explaining to people what's different and why they would enjoy coming in for a birthday celebration, sitting around a table by the fire with their family, enjoying a delicious meal prepared by the chef, they have no idea. Do you see the difference between fast food and a sit-down restaurant? In your mind, you already know that. But if you didn't, you would need a conversation. And in our business, because what we do is so different from a fast food digital file photographer, that's why this conversation becomes so much more important. So if you're getting the wrong clients booked or you're having problems later in the process, I can usually trace it back to this first conversation and the fact that you aren't articulating how amazing this whole process is. And my friend, it's not because you're offering it at a lower price anymore. The price race to the bottom is not winnable because everyone has a digital camera. So we're competing with free. The mental game on this one is that this is a skill you can learn. Okay. Doesn't matter if you're an introvert, you're shy, you're awkward, you can follow a system and learn how to talk to people on the phone. So the question I would ask you is, are you willing to be bad long enough to get good? Step 6 is marketing. Marketing is not randomly posting about a mini session on social media and expecting clients to flood in. Listen, most people think not having enough clients is a marketing problem. It's not. Not having enough clients is a symptom of a bigger problem, likely one that you created in not doing steps 1 through 5 correctly. The real problem is that you don't have a well-oiled system to know how to generate the leads, book them, and thrill them. And likely it comes from you telling yourself, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. And then you start sabotaging yourself. You do a lot of trying this or trying that. And when it doesn't work, you blame yourself and say you're not good enough. Maybe you're scared to talk to leads. You're not calling people back, making excuses. You have a fear of rejection. You have a fear of embarrassing yourself or being judged, or heck, a fear of success. My friend, I want you to have a mindset reframe, because for me, when I'm not getting the results that I know is possible because I've seen other people getting it, I would rather invest my time and money in learning how to do it right versus trying the same thing over and over and expecting different results. You know that's the definition of insanity, don't you? Doing the same thing and expecting different results. Learning or creating a complete system is even more important when you're trying to run a business in a very saturated industry. Listen, the good news is this can totally be learned, but you have to realize first that it's not you. It's that you don't have a system. So you're guessing. Step 7, another big one that a lot of photographers skip, and this is the in-person consultation. This is a non-negotiable for me and for my students. In my photography business, this is literally why my sessions go smoothly and why the ordering appointments work. And I found out and identified that there are 7 things that need to happen during the consultation, or it gets pushy and salesy later, which is what none of us like. This is why my clients invest over 4 and sometimes 5 figures in their artwork from me from like a 30-minute session on a Wednesday morning, and why they refer me and gush on me and come back to me over and over and over. It's because of this step that nobody else wants to do, because they tell themselves it's too much time or it's asking too much of my clients. The most important of those 7 outcomes of this step is that I create my sales plan so I know what to photograph based on what they said they love. I learned quickly when I first started that you can't just ask people what they want because they have no idea. Remember, they haven't been to a sit-down restaurant before, so they don't even know what to ask or what to talk about. I have to lead them. They haven't worked with someone like me before, so it's a completely new experience. So my job is to paint the picture of what they're going to like, give them a lot of options, and then listen to what appeals to them. And then that's what we're creating. So during this session, which is the next step, I might say, whoa, that's the magic. That's the big one we talked about for over the sofa. Then in the presentation, of course, they're like, oh, that's the one we talked about for over the sofa, because we were intentionally photographing for that spot. Nobody does this. So what I want you to take away here is that good selling is really just great serving. If you aren't willing to meet with and talk to your client throughout the process to eliminate their fear of making a mistake, you aren't serving them and you aren't going to get large orders. And I feel like if you're not serving them, likely what you're doing instead is hiding, and that doesn't end well either. Step 8 is building the presentation. The key is curating what you're showing to the client. More isn't better. This presentation has to follow the sales plan that we created. Don't you hate it when you go to the online movie streaming platforms and there are so many movies, it's overwhelming? You spend so much time watching previews and going through them that it's like, oh, it's too late, we'll watch it another night. I love on family night when my kids have narrowed it down to a couple. They show us the 3 trailers, we pick one, and we're so happy. It makes it so much less overwhelming. The mindset here is that you're building a presentation that serves your client and makes it easy for them to decide. You're not withholding by not showing every image you've created. People pay more for curation. Step 9, amazing. This is the in-person sales presentation. This is my favorite part of the process. I used to be so scared of sitting with my clients and showing them images like they're gonna judge me and they're not gonna like them. But as I built out my system to serve them, I realized this is the best part. I have 1 hour to sit with them because otherwise they get overwhelmed and they can't decide, to hold their hand and walk them through making the decision, talk to them and show them what the artwork will look like in their home. And I resisted this for years because I thought it sounded so pushy until I tried it. My first client walked in saying, oh, Sarah, I'm a bad one to try this on because I can never make a decision. Photographers hate me. 45 minutes later, Even though I didn't really know what I was doing, she walked out and she said, Sarah, you made that so easy. I know exactly what I want. It's the easiest thing I've ever done. Thank you. So every time an order fell through or someone asked me to go home and think about it, or they had buyer's remorse and called back to cancel, I went back to my system. What did I do wrong that didn't make it easy for the client to make the decision? So for almost 30 years, I've been tweaking this system. And dang, it is so good now. And if I skip a step in my system, it breaks down. People just don't have buyer's remorse. They don't need to go home and think about it. They tell me how much they love this process. So the mindset I want you to get with this step is that I want you to treat these clients like you're helping your best friend, and the sales will come. Listen, today's training is to show you what's possible when you serve your clients with a system that keeps you from judging yourself and feeling so defeated. If it were easy, my friend, everyone would be crushing it. So be glad it's hard, because most photographers quit or stay stuck in a broken model. And the thing I want you to see is that you aren't struggling because you aren't a good enough photographer. I can pretty much promise you that. It's because you aren't making it easy for your clients to come to you and place large orders. All you're lacking is a proven system. And once you have a system that works, your business will run like a well-oiled machine. And when that happens, then you have a real sustainable competitive advantage in your business. Listen, this is the exact playbook that I've spent my career trying and fixing and perfecting. And now it's the one that I walk my students through, because I know once they experience it once, they'll never go back to the way they were doing things. And those who were stuck at a couple $100 orders are now consistently hitting $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Some, their averages are even over $5,000. And the best part is they have time back in their lives. So listen, if you're liking this and you're thinking, gosh, I could take years creating a system, or I could hop on the call with someone on Sarah's team and see if they could help me get there faster, that's what I would do. So I'm going to stick the link in the description and come and at least check it out. Because every time a client tells you they need to think about it or they call to cancel, it's costing you not only money, but time, and you can't get that back. Keep watching, my friend, and I'll see you soon.